Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. We are diving into a 12-man mock draft, 2-quarterback league. Do not forget to subscribe on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, X, and we'll see you in Let's Get It Going.
All right. Welcome to the show. This is the Frankly Fantasy Football Podcast. We are your hosts, Frankie and Johnny. Wait, did I go the right way? Frankie and John? I don't know which way you are on the screen for me, man.
Well, hey man, it's okay. Just whatever you do, just keep that Steelers shit over there. Keep that gross shit. That's why I had to wear my, summertime, Ohio State, got it from Cabo. Just feeling breezy, so keep your shit over there, right?
I'm dressed as a Steelers fan. You're dressed as a douchebag. We did not coordinate here, man. We did not. You know what? I'm wearing this hat to intimidate you. I don't want you. We're doing a mock draft today, guys.
Right.
I'm going to mock all over Frankie's face, and I want to intimidate him with my Steelers hat because I know it's going to distract him. Welcome to the show, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to mock you, baby, like a wagon wheel, okay? We got a mock draft. We're doing a 12-team, 2-quarterback league. I know a lot of people do 2 quarterbacks and super flexes. We're going to show you what that looks like today. Please don't forget to follow us on social media. You got to go to Instagram. It is goddamn hilarious. There's great info. Frankie puts out some stupid moments we have on the podcast as well, which is really fun. I think we talk about a banana hammock. In a previous episode. Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I prefer high thigh shorts. My personal perspective.
Ooh, I almost made some slurs there just now. I got to stop myself. Thank you, Frankie. I appreciate that. You triggered me for a second. All right. Let's get going with the mock draft today, okay? Let's get going with the mock draft. Let's get things happening here. Okay. Like I said, 12-team mock draft. It is a 2 QB league. So we've got 2 running backs, 2 receivers, 2 quarterbacks, and a flex. We're not drafting kicker or defense, and we're going 12 rounds here so we can get things going. I am drafting from the number 6 spot. Frankie is drafting from the number 10 spot. All right, in conjunction with a true 2-quarterback league, we've got 3 quarterbacks taken in the first 6 picks. All right, so I have to look at quarterback. Guys, in a 2 QB league, you've got to look at quarterbacks early and often because they will disappear. So you've got to be very strategic about what you're doing here. Christian McCaffrey taken 1 overall. Then we had Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, top 3 quarterbacks taken. A little Justin Jefferson smattering in there right before me. That's interesting. So it's my turn at number 6. Quarterbacks, I'm looking at Lamar Jackson, C.J. Stroud, Joe Burrow, Anthony Richardson. Running backs, Breece Hall, Bijan. Man, it's tough to pass up on those guys, isn't it? Wow. Receivers, we still have CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase. This is really tough, guys. You know what? I am going to build a team by not taking a quarterback early. I'm going to try to use a strategy of waiting on quarterback and just see how long I can wait on a quarterback in a 2 QB league. It's stressful. I'm glad I went to the bathroom, because I'm going to probably shit myself. But I'm going to go CeeDee Lamb here, man. I'm going to take my number 1 receiver off the board and lock down CeeDee Lamb. All right, right after that, C.J. Stroud, Lamar Jackson. Like I said, quarterback heavy, baby. Tyreek Hill and Frankie. You are on the clock at number 10. Really interesting spot. What are you going to do here?
This is a really interesting spot. I mean, John, quarterbacks are going really hot and heavy right now. So I kind of want to go quarterback, but man, is it so hard to pass up on. I mean, I could go Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra. Guys, I could also go Breece Hall, Bijan Robinson. This is truly difficult. I'll tell you what, though. I'm going to do something a little crazy. I want my guy, and I'm going to go after him. I'm actually going to lock in that of Bijan Robinson. I want to be able to solidify that running back position. I think he could absolutely overtake CMC this year, knowing how the Falcons are going to be leveraging him. So let's see what happens here. Let's play a little game.
All right, I like that. Bijan, yeah, we are excited about Bijan this year. He could be the 101 next year, and it could not even be close. It's possible. All right, after Bijan, Jamar Chase, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra St. Brown on the turn. Breece Hall and Frankie are back on the clock. What are you going to do and pair up with Bijan?
You know what? Screw it. Let's keep being crazy, John. I'm not going to go quarterback here. I'm not even going to go receiver here. I'm going to go running back. I'm looking at Saquon Barkley or Jonathan Taylor. For me, I'm all about what Saquon is going to bring to the table, John. I mean, I could go receiver, go Puka Nacua, A.J. Brown, so on and so forth. I just like having Bijan and Saquon, and let's see how this pans out.
All right, after you took Saquon, we've got Anthony Richardson, we've got A.J. Brown, and Garrett Wilson. I'm on the clock in the 6th spot. Who am I going to pair up with? CeeDee Lamb. Quarterbacks on the board, we've got Joe Burrow, we've got Dak Prescott, Kyler Murray, Jordan Love. Very tempting to look at a stack here with Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. Man, I feel terrible about taking Dak in the 2nd round, though. Doesn't that just feel gross? I know it's 2 QB league. Don't think like that. It just feels gross to me. But in a 2 QB league, that's how it's going to work out. Running backs, I'm looking at Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams, Travis Etienne. 3 just stud workhorse backs. Receivers, Puka Nacua, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave. Love those guys. This is this one for me. I'm going to try to go balanced here. This is a 1st-round running back. He only is dropping to me in this spot because of all the quarterbacks that have been taken. But again, I want to try to wait as long as I can. Had Anthony Richardson fallen to me, I would have taken the quarterback there. Even though I said I want to wait, you do have to change. If things fall in your lap, you have to pick them up. But I am going to take my number 1 back on the board at the moment, Jonathan Taylor. Okay, then Dak Prescott. Somebody else was looking at that same line of thought. Puka Nacua, Sam Laporta, Travis Kelce, Joe Burrow, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave, Drake London, Brandon Ayuk. Big run on receivers there. Trey McBride, and I'm back on the clock. Let's just take a little peek-see here at what happened with quarterback. Kyler Murray, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert. There's a lot of guys that I still like, you guys. We're still looking at way down the line here. You've got guys like Caleb Williams, Tua, Jared Goff, Trevor Lawrence, Jaden Daniels. I'm going to wait as long as I can and try to pick up 2 of the 4 or 5 of those guys. Again, it's a big risk because you see a big run, you can't do much about it, but I am going to do that. Running backs, Kyron Williams, Travis Etienne, Derrick Henry. Receivers, Devontae Adams, Michael Pittman Jr., Mike Evans. Yeah, Frankie, I know exactly what that I know what that is. You start getting a little chub there. Yeah. 3rd round to pair up with CeeDee Lamb and Jonathan Taylor. I've got to go with Devontae Adams here. You're right. After Devontae Adams, Kyron Williams, Travis Etienne, Michael Pittman Jr., and Frankie are on the clock. You've got 2 horses carrying that cart for you right now with Bijan and Saquon. Love those names, by the way. They flow really well together. Where are you going now?
So right now, John, I'm looking at the quarterbacks. There's still, to your point, quite a few. We got Kyler Murray, Jordan Love, Brock Purdy, so on and so forth. I could go crazy and go running back. I'm certainly not going to do that here. So I'm going to look and take a peek at receivers. So I'm looking at Mike Evans, Jalen Waddle, Stephon Diggs, DJ Moore, Nico Collins. God, dude, this is so hard. You know what? I'm going to be okay with this decision, and I'm going to roll with it. And I think I'm going to end up locking in that. I'm going to skip down a tad. I'm going to go, man, this is tough. I'm actually going to go DJ Moore. And I really, really like DJ Moore's ability for a receiver 1. I also love that Caleb Williams is going to be airing it out to him. It's going to be a little bit different than Justin Fields. I do acknowledge the fact that they did bring on Roman Dunze. They have Keenan Allen, right? They have an arsenal of other weapons. But I still can't let go of DJ Moore's talent and ability, so I'm locking him in.
DJ Moore's the alpha. Yes, there's a lot of mouths to feed, but DJ Moore eats first in this offense. I truly believe that. All right, well, if you were waiting on another receiver to come your way, it probably has. No receivers taken around you on the turn there. You got Kyler Murray, Brock Purdy, Derrick Henry, and Devon Achane taken right in front of you, and you're back on.
Super easy, John. I'm going to go back to receiver here, and I'm going to lock in Mike Evans. I keep targeting Mike Evans this year, guys, again, because of his high floor. Dude has had 1,000 yards in every season he's played. I don't foresee this changing at all. They didn't add any extraordinary weapons to where it's going to be taking a lot away from him. They re-signed Baker Mayfield to a larger deal. I know that's Baker Mayfield's guy. I love getting Mike Evans as your receiver too.
All right, I'm looking quarterbacks here. Nobody I absolutely love. Once you commit to kind of punting and playing that game, I'm going to be watching it over the next 3 rounds. I'm not going to make that move just quite yet. Running backs, Rachaad White, James Cook, Kenneth Walker, Joe Mixon. Very interesting. Receivers, you got Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Debo, Malik Neighbors. This is an interesting pick for me here. You know, we talked about it before. I do like Rachaad White and James Cook, especially in PPRs because of their ability. This is not a PPR. I love going to guys that are workhorse running backs. I just like the opportunity of proven guys. This is a new face in a new place. We just talked about him.
Yep.
You know I love him. You know Frankie loves him. We're going to go with Joe Mixon, baby, for the Houston Texans. Pair him up with Jonathan Taylor. I feel really good about my foundation here of having 2 stud running backs, 2 stud receivers. Now I can start thinking about quarterback or tight end at this point. All right, after I took Mixon, we had Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, Rachaad White, Malik Neighbors, Dalton Kincaid and Debo on the turn, Devonta Smith, KW3, Mark Andrews, and James Cook. I'm back on the clock. All right, no damage done for me on quarterback, and everyone except for Frankie has at least 1 quarterback, so I'm not going to freak out quite yet about that. And I am going to go look at receiver. Tight ends, we've got Kyle Pitts, we've got Evan Ingram, George Kittle. God damn it, Frankie, you talked me into Kyle Pitts, man. I can't do it here, but I was watching that episode and just laughing my ass off of, damn it, we're going to do the Kyle Pitts problem again. I'm looking receiver here. We got Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, Amari Cooper, Zay Flowers. Really interesting guys. Now, this is somebody I'm looking at for my flex here. You know, I did this in the last mock draft, and I am going to do it again. If Cooper Kupp falls this far to me, I'm going to take the chance every time. I'm just going to know that the next receiver I take may be replacing him if he is injured or does get hurt. So I have to make sure I got myself covered, but I have to put Cooper Kupp in my flex. That just feels too good. All right, after Cooper Kupp, Tank Dell, DK Metcalf, Kyle Pitts. Good, Team 9. You get to deal with that shit. Frankie, where are you going here?
John, I'm pretty open right now. So I'm taking a look at quarterback. Nothing has changed to your point. So I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep pushing off. So guys, I could go receiver or running back. Right now, my running backs are Bijan and Saquon. Receivers are DJ Moore, Mike Evans. John, I'll tell you what, man, I'm actually going to go back to the well at running back. In case Saquon gets hurt or in case something happens with Bijan, there's just too much talent on the board. I'm looking at Alvin Kamara, Aaron Jones, DeAndre Swift. I'll tell you what I'm going to do, man. I'm locking in that of Aaron Jones. I'm going to draft him over that of Alvin Kamara. And the reason being is because coming from NFL player Tyler Scott, he literally said that the best player that he's seen live outside of that of Patty Mahomes is that of Aaron Jones. And in addition to that, John, with the team that he's going to be behind, it could be Sam Darnold, J.J. McCarthy, you have Justin Jefferson, you also have Jordan Addison. The dude is going to get the rock, so I love this as my 3rd running back.
The other thing that's nice about Aaron Jones is you can play him in your flex.
In flex, totally.
Yeah. Typically, you're going to want a receiver in your flex, especially if you're looking at any type of PPR scoring. But Aaron Jones is one of those guys who is going to get play out of the backfield. He's going to catch passes. And he is a workhorse over in Minnesota, so that's a great pick. Alvin Kamara right after that, then George Pickens and Keenan Allen on the turn, and T. Higgins right in front of you. You're back on the clock.
John, so this is really cool to call out because I was absolutely targeting George Pickens or that of T. Higgins. Both of those guys are now off the board, so it switches my thought process. So I was going to go receiver. I'm actually going to go quarterback here now because I want to start filling in with it being a 2-quarterback league. I'm looking at that of Jordan Love, Justin Herbert, Caleb Williams, Tua. It's easy for me. It's Jordan Love. What Jordan Love showed this past year was nothing short of brilliant. They're currently working on a contract extension. They were able to put new pieces around him, right, with Marshawn Lloyd and a few others. Like, John, I really think that this is and Josh Jacobs, of course, this is a really good opportunity for Jordan Love this year to expand upon what he did last year. I'm locking him in as my QB1.
All right. After Jordan Love, you had Christian Kirk, Zay Flowers, and DeAndre Swift. I was really nervous you were going to really start a bad quarterback run there and screw me, man, but So far, so good. I'm getting a little nervous. I'm not gonna lie. My asshole's puckered just a
Just
tad.
a tad. Yep.
Just a tad, but I'm still gonna hold strong here, man. I'm gonna stay disciplined. Looking at running back and receiver. Running backs don't really excite me too much. Ramondre, Monty, James Conner, Najee Harris. It's getting into a range where there's a handful of guys that I like, that I'd be happy with. So I'm gonna let that go to the next round and see what I can do. Receivers with Amari Cooper, Terry McLaurin, Jaden Reed. This one, it's going to be Amari Cooper. Listen, he's the alpha on the Cleveland Browns. I know it's tied to Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun, we got to do this every time we say Deshaun. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. No commentary on that so we don't get demonetized on YouTube, for fuck's sake. But Amari Cooper's the alpha on that team. He's going to command and demand targets, and he's going to get them. After Amari Cooper, we had Terry McLaurin, Justin Herbert, Monty, Tua, James Conner, Stevenson, Harris. Oh my God, we got a quarterback run. Now I'm freaking out, guys. Now I'm starting to freak out here. All right. Quarterbacks taken. Justin Herbert, Tua, Caleb Williams, and Jared Goff right in front of me. I believe that's pretty much almost all the guys I named that I was looking to target. So now I do have to look at quarterback. I am not going to get screwed here because I know Frankie will definitely try to screw me and start another run. This is difficult, though. Trevor Lawrence, Jaden Daniels, Kirk Cousins, Matt Stafford, Aaron Rodgers. Those are clearly, two of those guys are clearly going to be my quarterbacks. I'll tell you what, Trevor Lawrence, very good quarterback. I think he's fine. He doesn't excite me. What they were able to do doesn't show me that he's going to have a giant ceiling this year. He could. Haven't seen it yet. So that doesn't really excite me. I want to go upside with this pick. And it's going to be Jaden Daniels. I'm going to take Jaden Daniels. The more we did, again, Jaden Daniels here, rookie review for the quarterbacks. This guy's electric, man. He's a smaller version of Lamar Jackson, and I love that. 2 QB league, I want one of these guys that is going to have a very high rushing floor. Jaden Daniels gives me that. They built the team around him. They've got some new pieces over there, and I think it's going to go bode very well for him. So let's see what we can do with Jaden Daniels. All right, then Evan Ingram, Rome Odunze, Trevor Lawrence. Frankie, you're on the clock.
John, I'm ready to take another quarterback here. I'm not even going to think about it. A lot of quarterbacks are going off the board. I might do another one after this just to piss you off. We'll see how it works out. But John,
is it the Steelers hat? It's the Steelers hat.
It's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
John, Jordan Love is he's a nice, safe, cozy type of quarterback. I don't see him being, I mean, if he gets in the top 5, amazing, top 7, amazing, but I see him not being, crazy incredible. I see him being nice and cozy. I'm going to go with another nice and cozy guy. And this is Kirk Cousins, right? Kirk Cousins, John, we got the thumbs up, man. He is medically cleared. And so now you have Kirk Cousins on the Falcons, got paid, $100 million guaranteed. He's got these weapons around him. And why not marry that with that of Jordan Love? So I love this, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I appreciate that, buddy. You really fucked me. I appreciate it. Let me wipe my tears. You took Kirk Cousins. Then we had Brock Bowers, George Kittle, Matt Stafford, and Aaron Rodgers taken. So tight ends and quarterbacks taken on the turn. All right, where are you going here, buddy?
John, this one's pretty easy for me. I'm going to go actually receiver. I want to go quarterback, but I'm going to go receiver. I definitely need to start bolstering my receiver room. I could go Jaden Reed. Very interesting because of a stack play with Jordan Love. But there's one guy on here that I just can't let go. He is on the Tennessee Titans, certainly a new face in a new place with that of Will Levis. Guys, it's going to be that of Calvin Ridley. I think that his upside here with the way that Will Levis lofts the ball up, I think this is a brilliant combination with Calvin Ridley, and he won't have that one-on-one anymore, John, as much as what he did because of D-Hop. You can't do it. And then you also have Tony Pollard. You have Tajay Spears to keep worried about. You also have Treylon Burke, right, if he ends up coming into his own. And they also signed Tyler Boyd. So what I'm getting at is if they stretch the field, you cannot double as often as what they did on Calvin Ridley last year being at the Jaguars. So why not lock him in as my receiver 3?
All right, then Tony Pollard, Xavier Worthy, and Baker Mayfield. This is where we are now. I'm looking past Baker Mayfield on the list. Wow. All right, guys. Well, I mean, this is what I have to do here, Frankie. I mean, I just don't have a choice at this point. That's exactly right. It is going to be Deshaun. I'm going to stare into those dark, soulless shark eyes of his. Shout out to Sean. I love you. I'm kidding, baby. Our whole season is riding on you. So I love you, man.
Everything.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah. I love you. But I'm going to take Deshaun Watson. It is a huge, huge risk. But the nice thing as well is that I could stack him up with Amari Cooper if I
Yeah.
decided to play Amari in my flex with a really juicy matchup. So it could work out. Now, what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to take another quarterback that I feel
Mhm.
pretty solid about in a good situation, just in case something comes up. What I really wanted to do there was go with Jonathan Brooks, who went right after me. I wanted to take a shot on that rookie running back. I don't have to play him because I have Joe Mixon and Jonathan Taylor. I could have waited. This guy could be incredible, but it might be second half of the season where you see that. Okay, so Jonathan Brooks taken, then Nick Chubb, Jaden Reed. We've got Javonte Williams, Will Levis, Rashee Rice, Hollywood, Jordan
Hollywood.
Addison, Turd Ferguson, and David Njoku. I'm back on the clock. Let's just take a look and see if there's a quarterback I do want to snag right now. You've got Geno Smith.
It's
Then
not
you're
bad.
looking at some backup guys here and some really sketchy ones that I really don't want to play. JJ McCarthy, Derek Carr, Bryce Young, Drake May. Guys that would be interesting to me. I'm going to say this to you because we're doing a mock. I would not do this in a real draft.
Sure.
But other quarterbacks I'm looking at, guys, that I'm going to try to target for my third are going to be Russell Wilson. We
Yeah.
talked about this in New Faces, New Places last week. And I think it's just a really safe game manager quarterback with a lot of talent around him that I think could put up some sneaky numbers and at least be safe for you. The other one that I will be targeting is probably going to be Gardner Minshew. Now, it's
Mhm.
early. It's not even August yet, so we don't know if he's going to be the starter. I have a feeling he will be, but by the time drafts roll around, you're going to know who's named the starter, I hope. But let's see if I can wait a little bit on those guys. We've got Jalen Warren, Raheem Mostert at running back, Eckler, Zach Moss. A lot of running backs here that I like. I do need running back depth unless there's an absolute steal at receiver, which there is not. It's either for me, it's going to be between Jalen Warren and Raheem Mostert. And I think I'm going Mostert here because you've got Devon Achan in most leagues is going in the second round here because it's a two quarterback leagues, the fourth round. I don't love the value on that. We've seen how
Mhm.
these guys split time. We see Mostert start and we see Achan come in and just, score 50-yard touchdowns all day long. Guys, Raheem Mostert finished as a top 5 running back last year.
Yep.
I think he was number 2, actually, finishing fantasy football. So I'm going to take a chance on him. He hasn't lost anything. There's nothing wrong with him. The offense really hasn't changed. There's no reason to think that this isn't a steal in the draft. So I'm going to take Mostert. All right, then Chris Godwin, J.J. McCarthy, Lad McConkey, and Frankie, you're on the clock.
John, for me, this is easy, man. I got to go back to the well at receiver here. I only have 3 receivers, right? And you can do 2 receivers and a flex. I could certainly plug in my Aaron Jones as a flex, knowing that I have Bijan and Saquon, but I really, really want to continue to bolster that receiver room at this point in time. So I'm looking at Deontay Johnson. I could definitely go D-hop and just captivate or capture that entire Titans receiver room. By the way, not recommended. So I'm not going to be doing that. So I could go Keon Coleman. I could go JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Christian Watson. John, for me, it's pretty easy. I'm going to go Deontay Johnson. I think that this guy being on the Carolina Panthers really bolsters that receiving room. We saw what Old Man River did with that of Adam Thielen. Shout out, boy. White magic over there. Ended up destroying it last year in the early end of the season, right? And petered out towards the end because, he's running out of gas a bit. So I think with adding Deontay, it gives Bryce Young even another weapon. They added Xavier Leggett. So I think that Deontay could be the number 1 receiver on this team.
Okay, then TJ Hawkinson, Austin Eckler, and Jalen Warren on the turn. DeAndre Hopkins, and you're back on the clock. Frankie, we got 3 picks left. Where are you going?
This is tough, John, because I absolutely could go tight end here. I'm looking at Dallas Goedert, Dalton Schultz, Firemouth. We got Cole Kmet. None of those are really exciting. They're more than likely still going to be there. I'm going to be playing the tight end game mostly anyways. So I'm going to go back and check out receiver. Again, not much has changed. I'm going to check out running back. And there's absolutely guys sitting there. It is Zach Moss. Zach Moss, to get Zach Moss in round 10 in a 2 quarterback league with 12-man team is incredible, John. He is going to be my running back 4. He is a starting running back for the Cincinnati Bengals at this point in time. I think if anything, he's trade bait. That way I can potentially use him, one of my other receivers, to get a true tier 1 receiver potentially down the road.
You're absolutely right. He is going to be he's a workhorse. He's a guy, I think he's just going too low in drafts. I
Yep,
think he's a guy,
totally.
I think Zach Moss, Devin Singletary, very similar players, similar style. They're both being forgotten. I think these are steals late in the draft because they get opportunity. That's what you want in fantasy football. All right, then JSN, Dalton Schultz, and Christian Watson taken. All right, let me see. Where do I want to go here? We've got 3 picks left. I do need a tight end to fill out my roster, and I definitely need another quarterback. I did say I need to get 3 because I have Deshaun. So that leaves me a tight end, a quarterback, and then a flyer pick. And that's going to be best available, high upside, a guy that I can also drop if need be, whether it's running back or receiver. So first, let's take a look at the tight end because I do think there's a tier drop here. Dallas Goedert, Pat Freiermuth, Cole Kmet. I am going to go with Dallas Goedert here. He is the most improved with the least amount of change around him on the team. Coming in healthy, I like his prospects here. Okay, then we had Keon Coleman, Tajay Spears, Tyler Lockett, Brian Thomas Jr., Devin Singletary, Brian Robinson, Gus Bus, Cole Kmet, Jameson Williams, Trey Benson, and I'm back on the clock. All right, so no damage done to me on quarterback. And like I said, there were a couple of guys there that I would be okay with as my third. I'm going to roll the dice and see that they come. Let's look at some flyers here of somebody that I'm looking at.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm going to come. Oh, Frankie, I love that so much. You know what, Frankie? What I'm going to do here, I am going to take my flyer pick. This is a rookie that we talked about. Posted right here, rookie review, wide receivers. This is a rookie wide receiver from Indianapolis, Adonai Mitchell. Adonai? Adonai?
Adonis?
Adonai. It's Adonai. Adonai Mitchell, he's going to be opposite Michael Pittman Jr. with Anthony Richardson or Joe Flacco throwing him the ball. So I feel fine about the quarterback situation. It's a flyer pick, guys. I'm going to pick him up. Week 2, week 3 comes around, week 4. I need somebody to drop to hit the waiver wire. This will be that guy. But I'm going to pick him up and just see how involved he actually is going to be in this offense. Okay, then Pat Freiermuth, Zeke, Chase Brown, and Frankie, you're on the clock. 2 picks left. You need a tight end still.
Yeah, definitely need a tight end. Again, I'm playing the tight end game at this point. I'm going to be streaming like crazy. So from a tight end perspective, Luke Musgrave's there. You got Otten, you have Sinat, you have Chig, you have Hunter Henry, right? They're going to be there on the way back. So I'm going to lock in my QB3 just in case. So I'm looking at Geno Smith, Derek Carr, Bryce Young, Drake May. John, this is really interesting. I'm going to go with none of those guys. And I'm going to go with the guy that you mentioned that's going to be wearing that disgusting gold and black, and it's gross. It's almost as gross as blue, man. Blue and gold and the yellow. The team up north. I'm going with Russell Wilson, man. I like his upside. Obviously, he's going to have some competition with that of Justin Fields. But again, if something happens, it's okay. I'm sending him packing. He's my quarterback 3 in case of a bye week, in case of an injury.
This is exactly why you don't talk about your strategies at your draft, because that's exactly what I did, and Frankie took my guys.
Sure
Be
did.
sneakier, guys. All right, after you took Russ, we have Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Romeo Doubs, and Blake Corum. Frankie, it's your last pick. You can do anything you want here. But I'm sorry, you've got to go tight end.
I got to go tight end. And John, there's one guy that I'm going to go with, and it is going to be, we could have some synergy here, John. You feel that? Oh my God. Did you feel that?
What was
it's
that?
Like a lightning rod hit the tip of my dick, man. What it is, dude, is it's Jaden Daniels to Ben Sinnott. You ready for this? Draft pick, number 53 overall, 2nd round pick. Washington went up to get this cat. And so then, yes, they have Zach Ertz. I understand that. But again, if I'm going to be playing this game anyways, I want to see how it at least pans out early on. I could always drop one of my other guys. I could always drop Ben Sinnott and pick up somebody that has a little bit higher floor. But why not see what happens? So, John, I'm rocking it out with the rookie tight end.
Love seeing rookie tight ends being drafted. All right after you took a rookie tight end, we had Luke Musgrave, Jerome Ford, Khalil Shakir, All right, I was going to zig, Frankie. You made me zag by taking Russell Wilson.
Mm,
I am going to take as my third QB Daniel Jones. I'm really curious about Daniel Jones here. Again, this is my third QB, and it's just backup in case Deshaun Watson ends up taking a shit. But Daniel Jones, he's got opportunity. We've seen
yeah.
him be able to do it. Maybe not in a full season, but very close. Very close. We've seen a lot of flash out of him. He's got Malik Neighbors now. He's got a great rushing floor. So I'm going to see how
Yes.
things go with Daniel Jones. Then we had Jahan Dotson, Jacoby Myers, Chuba Hubbard, Zach Charbonnet, and Mike Williams. All right. That is the draft, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take a look, Frank, at our teams here. Let's look at my team.
Let's do it.
Let's take a look at my team here and see how things look. All right. CeeDee Lamb, Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Amari Cooper, Adonai Mitchell at my receivers. Love my receivers. Love that situation. That's an area that I'm not worried about. I was able to take a risk with Cooper Kupp, back it up with Amari Cooper, and a flyer with Adonai Mitchell. I feel good about that. Running backs, I feel really good about. Jonathan Taylor, Joe Mixon, Raheem Mostert. Now, the issue with this, usually in a 2-quarterback league, you're going to have a little deeper bench so you can store more guys. We're doing a mock. We don't want to waste everybody's time, so we wanted to make it a little quicker for you. But obviously, I would want more running back depth here. I love the 3 guys I have, but you all know that's not a big enough stable of running backs when it comes to fantasy football. Quarterback is where things got interesting for me. I did this on purpose to try to wait, play that game, see what I could do waiting on a quarterback in 2-quarterback leagues. I'm okay with it. I'm not in love with it, but I'm okay with it. I love the ceiling opportunity with Jaden Daniels with a high rushing floor. I feel good about that. In 2-quarterback leagues, I do want Jaden Daniels. Not necessarily as my first all the time, but I do like him there. Deshaun Watson as my second. Everything's there for him. It's just up to him to perform. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, which is why I came back around and got Daniel Jones as well. Good team. My running backs and receivers, I love. I would put them up against any other team in the league based on that, but also I did sacrifice a little bit with quarterbacks. So just be careful with that strategy, guys.
John, I love the first 4 picks, especially. I think that is so strong. Guys, if you're able in a 2-quarterback league to anchor your team on CeeDee Lamb, JT, Devontae Adams, and Joe Mixon, I think that then gives you the ability to take a risk on a Jaden Daniels like what you did, John. I think that Jaden Daniels has a lot to prove, obviously, being the 2nd overall pick, right? We saw last year with Bryce Young, right, not doing well, being the 1st overall pick. CJ Stroud acting as if he was borderline MVP throughout the year at one point. So for me, man, I love that you took the risk on Jaden Daniels, knowing you have a solidified front 4. And then obviously you're backing that with that of Deshaun Watson and that of Daniel Jones. The other key call out too is, John, there's other QBs that you can also pick up and drop. If Daniel Jones is underperforming, if Deshaun Watson is underperforming, right, you still have Drake May on the board. Why not then add him to your team, drop one of those if they aren't performing well? Because Jacoby Brissett is going to start, but what happens if they're not winning? They're going to put in the number 3 overall pick in this year's past NFL draft. So, dude, I love the flexibility you have with this team. That front 4, man, is scary as hell.
You know, the one place I may have changed in an actual, I wanted to wait as long as possible without freaking out and drafting a shitty team. Actually, it's the Cooper Kupp pick.
Cooper Kupp pick, okay.
I could have, instead of drafting Cooper Kupp, I had available to me Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa. That would have changed my team greatly. I could have still had Amari Cooper in my flex, and I could have had Tua or Justin Herbert and Jaden Daniels as my 2. That could have been a much better team in my mind. I would have been able to come back a little later.
What round is that for those listening?
That's round 5. So
round
after
5
those
in a
4
2 QB league.
Yeah, round 5 in a 2 QB league. So I could have also had either Justin Herbert and Tua with Jaden Daniels. I think that would have made my team feel a lot better. Yep.
Good call.
That's why we do this. It's exactly why we do this, guys. You got to put in the work. You got to do the research. All right, Frankie, let's break your team down here. Talk to me about it, buddy.
So this was fun, guys. Typically, I wouldn't really ever try to go running back. But in this situation, I wanted to see what would happen to get Bijan Robinson, because in one league, I am going to reach and I am going to take a piece of him. And then to come back and go Saquon Barkley, I mean, two superstar running backs that I'm just set it and forget it. You don't even have to think about it.
So fun.
John, then you go DJ Moore, Mike Evans. Love that tandem as well. You have DJ Moore's ceiling with Caleb Williams, with Mike Evans, super cozy floor. I don't see him getting under that of 230 points this year in fantasy football. So for me, that is a great receiver too. Where it gets interesting is where I went Aaron Jones. Now, because Aaron Jones could technically be a RB1, like now I have some trade bait. Now I can plug him into the flex, right? It depends on the strategy that I want to go with. So I don't know if I would necessarily do that again. Maybe I would go a receiver here or even go a quarterback, John, when looking at it from that early. So just looking at this, if I wouldn't have gone Aaron Jones, I could have gone George Pickens, Keenan Allen, T. Higgins, or I could have gone that of Justin Herbert, Tua Tagovailoa, in addition to when I got Jordan Love. So, I'm okay with it, but I would want to evaluate around that round 5, round 6 mark to make sure that do I go with a depth piece or do I go with the starting caliber quarterback at that point in time? But John, I'll tell you what, man, I really love my quarterbacks that I was able to put together. None of them are over the top sexy, but all of them are right in that above middle tier, right? They're not completely middle. They're right in that shade above. And for me, that's perfect the way I drafted, knowing that I went 2 stud quarterback or running backs and 2 very high-end receivers. They're not CeeDee Lamb. They're not Devontae Adams, but they're damn close to that next tier below that. So for me, I feel really well-rounded. And then obviously adding Calvin Ridley, adding Deontay Johnson, getting another starting running back in that of Zach Moss, and then, of course, getting your guy wearing that disgusting color hat and Russell Wilson. So for me, man, I really think showing what could happen if in a 2-quarterback league you went 2 running backs, this is what you're going to have to deal with. It could end up panning out really well. Or if one of those running backs get hurt, one of the receivers get hurt, something like that, I might be scrambling just a tad. But other than that, man, I feel really cozy with this type of team.
That's where it's scary for me with your team because you're so reliant on the ceiling of Bijan and Saquon.
100%.
Because most of the other guys on your team, they don't have huge ceilings.
Nope.
DJ Moore, sure, he's got high upside, but there's still a lot of mouths to feed. I know he's the alpha, but they're still going to spread the ball. Other guys are going to score. But you've got great guys that are safe, good, solid floors. They're going to give you a great base, but you're going to have to get big games out of Bijan and Saquon. You have one of those weeks where Saquon and Bijan, for whatever reason, they just get kind of shut down or only have 5-6 points. It's going to be really tough to win that week. Absolutely. But I love the balance of the team and the discipline you showed when drafting those quarterbacks late.
John, the other call out too is, guys, don't be afraid to pair up Kirk Cousins with Bijan. That's another reason why I went for Kirk Cousins, because I'm telling you guys, there are going to be multiple games this year. Kirk Cousins is going to be Brock Purdy to CMC. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I think that Kirk Cousins is going to be doing some nice pumping and dumping, man, as my wife would say when she used to breastfeed. We're pumping and dumping here, man. So I think that he's going to be checking down and getting Bijan the ball often around that goal line. So why not double up the points if I have the opportunity?
Love that. Great call, man. Great call. All right, guys, that is the mock draft. Frankie, thank you so much. Way to show everybody some different strategies and how to analyze your team and what you would have done differently. So I love it, man. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to follow us on social media, all social media, Frankly Fantasy Football, and please watch on YouTube. Subscribe, like, share. We love you. We want to see some love back. And don't forget to comment on these mock drafts. Tell us we're fucking idiots. Tell us we did a terrible job. Tell us if we did a good job. Actually, I don't care if I did a good job. I know what I did. Call me out. Call Frankie out. Everybody loves going after Frankie on YouTube in the comments. It's brutal. It's the Wild West. Keep it up. I love it. Correct his stats. Now he goes back and makes sure his stats are correct because he gets corrected on some things.
That's right.
So I like it. I like it. Give it to him, man. Give it to him. We a couple of episodes coming up, guys, in the next few weeks here. It's go time. It's August.
Go time.
It's August, so pay attention. We're going to have a mock draft every Friday. We're going to be pumping out some episodes here to get you guys ready for your draft, so enjoy. Frankie, any closing words for you, brother?
Absolutely. Guys, now is the time to start really doing some drafts, right? Get into an idea as to, okay, what is your league set up as? Where could you fit in terms of a draft placement? and start going over some of the strategy. If you need ideas, don't hesitate to reach out. If you have questions, as Johnny mentioned, guys, this is what we're here for. We're here to win you guys a league. Johnny and I win. I don't want to tip our cap, but we win quite often, right? At least one league a year. So for us, guys, this is to help you. We love doing this. Don't be shy and tune in for next week. We're diving in once again.
May the fantasy gods smile upon you. Bye.